Hi everyone, welcome to C programming tutorial series. In my last video, I completed the discussion on a very important topic which is constants in C. If you guys have not seen that video, then I just recommend you guys to watch that video on constants. You will get complete information regarding constants in C. You can find the video in the same playlist. And in today's video, I am going to discuss what is variable. Okay, so before coming to today's topic, I just want to tell you guys that if you guys like this video, click on like button, share it with your friends, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and if you guys have any queries, then let me know in the comment section. Now let us start our discussion on this topic of what is variable. So a variable is a name of the memory location. It is used to store data. Its value can be changed and it can be reused many times. Okay, so now let us try to understand what variable is. A variable is a name given to any memory location from our program. So whenever we will be start writing any program, we may require the help of different types of data. We may require integer data, we may require float data or decimal data, we may require character data to be used in our program. So whenever we will be using these different types of data in our program, so in a computer there has to be a way where we can store these different types of data, and that's where the concept of memory location comes into the picture. So whatever different types of data we will be using in our programs, each and every of those data will get stored inside the memory with different locations, and we used to give a specific name from our program to that memory location in which we are storing the data. So a variable is a name of the memory location given from our program, and that variable holds the value which we are using in our program. Its value can be changed. Yes, a variable value can be changed during execution. Its value is not fixed. For the very first time, whenever you will be executing a program, a variable might have one value, and the next time again when you will be executing the same program, the same variable might have different value. That means the value of the variable gets changed in each and every execution. Okay, and it can be reused many times. So it is a way to represent memory location through symbol so that it can be easily identified. A variable can be used to represent the memory location with the help of any symbol, and that symbol is called as variable. So as you can see here, I have drawn a diagram. Suppose this is the diagram of a memory system of a computer where we have different blocks of memory, and each and every block has its own address. Like 2001 is an address of this location, 2002 is the address of this second location, like this 2003, 2004, and so on. Okay, and each and every memory location will have its unique address. That's what I have mentioned here. So this 2001 is represented as memory address. Okay, and here variable name salary. Okay, suppose I have labeled this memory location with a variable name salary. Okay, and I have stored the value of 30,000 in this variable salary. Okay, so now this 30,000 becomes the value of this variable salary. That means the salary is a variable name which holds the value of 30,000 whose address is 2001. Next is, unlike constants that remain unchanged during the execution of the program, a variable can take different values at different times during execution. Okay, in our last video we have discussed the concept of constants. When I was discussing regarding constants, I told you that constants is a type of variables whose value doesn't get changed. Once we initialize any value to a constant variable, then that value will be fixed with each and every execution. We cannot change, whereas a variable value can be easily changed with each and every execution. Okay, as you can see here I have mentioned different data types: int data type, float data type, and then char data type. This is char. So we will be using these data types in our program to tell the compiler that the value which I am trying to store inside this int variable is integer value or whole numbers. without decimal, such as 456, 123, 192, or values with minus sign, negative sign, minus 453. Okay, and then whenever I will be using float data type in our program, that means I'm trying to store the decimal values in that float variable. Okay, it stores floating point numbers with decimals such as 20.4, negative 24.34, like that. Okay, and whenever I will be using char data type, that means I'm trying to store character values in that variable. Okay, so character variable stores single character such as a, small a, or a capital A, or any other single letter. Okay, so whenever I will be using char as a data type to store the character data, then that character needs to be enclosed or surrounded with single quotes. Okay, so I'm sure you guys have understood the concept of variable. Now in this slide we'll try to discuss how to declare a variable, and we will see what is the syntax of declaring a variable. So the variable declaration should start with the data type followed by the variable name. Okay, so whenever you want to declare a variable in your program, then you need to follow this syntax: data type. That data type can be int, can be float, can be char. Okay, and then followed by variable name, the name of the variable, like salary, age. Okay, and there is another way by which you can declare the variable in your program. So in the second method, you can declare as well as you can initialize. You can pass the value to that variable. So the second method is data type followed by the variable name of the variable. It can be age, it can be any number. Okay, it can be first name, it can be last name. Okay, and then equal sign value. That means what value I want to store inside that variable. So if you want to initialize any value at the time of declaration, you can do that as well. Here you can see I have given few examples: int a, float b, char c. Okay, so these are the examples of declaration where I have mentioned here in this first point. Second method is, in this method, apart from declaring, I am also initializing a value to the variable. Okay, as you can see here I am declaring a variable a of type integer, and at the same time I am initializing the value of 10 to the variable a. Okay, and I'm doing the same thing for this variable b as well, and here I'm trying to initialize the decimal value to this float variable f. Okay, and here I'm trying to initialize the character value to the character variable c. So this is how you can declare a variable, and I have tell you few rules while declaring and initializing the value in your program. Okay, now let us move ahead to the next slide to discuss various rules for defining variables in C. Every variable name should start with alphabets or underscore. Okay, so whenever you will be declaring any variable in your program, you need to keep this point in your mind that each and every of your variable should start either with any alphabet or with an underscore. As you can see here in the example, int num. Okay, so this variable num is of type integer and it has started with a letter n. And in the second example, you can see int underscore int space underscore num, and this second variable I have started with underscore. Both of these methods are valid methods. Okay, that's what it's mentioned in this first point. Next rule is no spaces are allowed in variable declaration. Okay, so whenever you will be declaring any variable in your program, you cannot put spaces in between your variable. As you can see here, I am trying to declare a net salary variable of type float, and I am trying to put a space here in between net and salary. If you try to do this, compiler will give you an error. So instead of you giving a space in between the variable, what you can do is you can either merge those two words or you can put underscore. Okay, so now this becomes a valid way of declaring the variable. Except underscore, no other special symbol are allowed in the middle of the variable declaration. So except underscore, you cannot use any other special character or special symbol in between the variable. Now as you can see here I have used hyphen. If I tries to declare the variable by putting hyphen in between the two words of the variable, it will give me an error. You can only use underscore. You cannot use dot. You can only use underscore whenever you want to make a variable with two words. Next rule is maximum length of variable is 8 characters. It depends on the compiler and operating system. So there is a limit of using letters in the name of the variable. Maximum you can use 8 characters in your variable. Okay, and it also depends on the compiler and operating system. Different compiler and operating system will give you the liberty of extending the length of the variable. Okay, and the next rule is every variable name always should exist in the left hand side of the assignment operator. Okay, so whenever you will be declaring any variable, then your variable name should be on the left side and the value should be on the right side. As you can see here, this is invalid. Okay, I will take you to the previous slide, and here this is the valid way of declaring and initializing a variable. So instead of declaring and initializing a variable like this, if I tries to do this 10 equals to a, if I tries to do this way of declaration and initialization, you will surely get an error. Compiler will throw you an error. So your variable name always should be on the left side and the value should always on the right side. Next, keywords should not be used as variable. So there are a few set of keywords provided by C compiler. So if you don't know anything about keywords, then I have made a separate video on this topic of keywords. I would just recommend you guys to watch that video which I have made on keywords, and you will get that video on the same playlist. So there are a few set of keywords given by C compiler, and you cannot use those keywords as the variable name in your C program. Like there are a few keywords like const, int, switch, enum, struct, and many more. So you cannot use any of these keywords as the name of the variable. Last rule is variable name should be meaningful and easy to remember and understand. Okay, so you should choose the name of your variable in such a manner that those names can be easy to understand. Whenever you give that program to someone else, that other person should also understand what is the purpose of using that variable in your program, why you actually use that variable with that name in your program. Other person also should understand and understand the complete code. So these are the rules for defining the variables in C, along with the examples of different types of variables. I hope you guys have got the better understanding on this topic. So if you guys like this video, click on like button, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and if you guys have any queries, then let me know in the comment section. I will see you guys in my next video, and thanks for watching.